Welcome to the challenge, Analyze This. This is a quick exercise and it's just an exploration. But you're going to need paper and pen or make an on-screen notepad to write down your answers to a few simple following questions. The first mate can hit pause here until people are equipped. Okay, if everyone now has a notepad and a pencil or an online notepad, let's have some fun. Quick, write down your favorite color, first one that pops into your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, stop. Now for 75 seconds, you're going to write down why it is your favorite color. What are the admirable qualities of this color for you? What does this color remind you of? What is this color about for you? Just jot down any adjectives that pop into your head that fit why you like this color. Your time is up. Now part 2. You have only 5 seconds to privately write down the name of any one animal that you admire, that you like, a favorite animal, but not your personal individual pet, a species or a breed. The first one that pops into your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Now you have your favorite animal. And now you have 75 seconds again to write down everything about the animal that you admire or at least that you respect or even love. What are its admirable qualities? What are your favorite animal's best features? What or who does this animal remind you of? Write down any adjectives that fit why you like this animal. Number 3, if you've been in a lifeboat for a while, you know that the challenges are often not about the obvious. This challenge is actually about how you see yourself and how you actually are. It has been theorized that your description of your favorite color is actually supposed to be how you see yourself. Remember, this is just an exercise. It might be somewhat true, it might not be true at all. But you decide if there's any insight, and you decide what you will share with the others. Remember, what happens in the lifeboat stays in the lifeboat. Look, I'll use myself as an example. For favorite color, I chose the color blue for the qualities of power, wisdom, heaven, eternity, spirituality. Blue reminded me of water and sky and heaven and royalty and beauty. That is how I see myself. A lot of my family and friends would see not that in me, not all the time. But is there any insight in your description of your color that might be true? Do you see yourself at least wanting to be like your favorite color? Your favorite animal, however, is possibly like how you are in reality, what your basic nature is. Now, as an example, I chose the rough collie dog. The rough collie is big, enthusiastic, and striking, and intelligent, and loyal, and affectionate, protective. It's proactive, it's playful. And when I shared this with my friends, they found there was considerable truth in this, as did I. Is there any truth in your description of your animal as a description of your real self? Your color and your animal are just an exercise to get you moving and thinking and reflecting on how you see yourself and how you actually are. It is a jumping off point for meditation. As an example, I wanted, when I was very young, to be a scholar. But what I am, largely, is an idea man with a very short attention span. So soon you're going to share in your group, but of course, as always, you can always say pass. But the sharing is often very funny. And this is just a fun jumping off point for discussion and affirmation, and what happens in this lifeboat stays in the lifeboat. There's an option. If you do share, you can always choose to let your group contribute insight, but only on what seems true of you. No comments on what is not true. Oh, you're not like that. No, comment and affirm on what is true, because this exercise is about affirming one another. And of course, something in your color may actually also be true of you, that you see yourself as largely who you are. For example, in my favorite color of blue, it may be true that I do see myself as spiritual, but it may also be true that to a certain extent, I am spiritual. It is important, if one person says a characteristic that is true of you, that if anyone else agrees with that observation, they've got to speak up and affirm it as well. But this is not about imposing a group narrative on you. This is about affirmation. You have to decide what's accurate and what's not about yourself. And as always, you can always all share in one group, or if you have larger numbers, you can go into breakout teams of 3 or 4 or whatever. So to experiment with dynamics, the first mate might break you into teams that are all women and all men, or sort by ages, or sort by affinities. Couples should split up. I don't mean in real life, I just mean in the breakout rooms, not permanently. First mate has the helm, and will now stop my video, end share screen, and let 5 cents worth of analysis begin. This challenge is Dreamwalk. It is not a challenge to do with people you are not already friends with. It is not an icebreaker. Now, Dreamwalk is the challenge for those who are strong enough to look inwards, wise enough to listen to others, brave enough to share with others, and for those who want to laugh their heads off. Jacob Barnett has autism. Jacob also became a working theoretical physicist. At the age of 10, Jake said, "Your IQ does not determine your contribution. How much time you take to simply think, to just think, to only think, will determine your success." So let me ask you, how much dedicated time do you take to just think about yourself, your behavior, your fears, your dreams? Dreamwalk is a challenge of guided introspection, sharing afterwards some small discoveries. This activity is not for people under the age of 21, and that's not because of any sexual content. It's because young people generally are too suggestible. and often too malleable in their identity. And adults need to know that you do not have to share anything you don't want to share with anyone. Lifeboat is a safe place. As always, you can say pass, but as always, we say, as we pledged, what happened in the lifeboat stays in the lifeboat. The dream walk ends with discussion group. If you have more than 8 and time is a factor, I suggest you divide up into breakup rooms of 4 or so. Now, what this is a guided meditation. It doesn't get spooky. It doesn't get weird. Everybody, just turn your video off, mute your microphone, and close your eyes. And relax by focusing on your breathing. Breathe. Breathe deep and slow. 4 seconds in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Continue steady breathing. And now roll your shoulders in big circles. Lift them up, roll them back, roll them down, roll them forward, and back up again. 3 more rolls. Breathe in the quiet. Breathe out the stress. Confess the stress. Open your hands as if you're letting go of all your preoccupations and all your worries. They'll still be there when you come back from your dream walk. You're just taking a break. You are daydreaming. You are in a safe place. In your dream walk, you cannot die. You cannot even be hurt or injured. It's just a dream. Whatever happens, whatever you do, it's okay. It's just a dream. So imagine yourself walking on a path in a meadow by a forest. It's sunny out and warm. On the path ahead, you see at a distance a key. You walk up to the key on the ground. What does the key look like? What size? What color? What kind of metal? What purpose does this key seem to serve? What does it look like it might open? Take a mental picture of the key. Pick up that key, put it in your pocket, and continue. The path turns towards the forest. Quite far ahead on the path, you see a tiger. The tiger does not see you. It makes no sense to find a tiger in a forest, but it's a dream. Anything can happen. So you have to continue forward. So there's a tiger a couple 100 feet ahead of you. So what do? You can do anything. And what does the tiger do in your dream? Your safe dream. Now the tiger lopes off across the meadow, and you take the path opposite it into the forest of tall trees, a forest that is lit with large sunny patches. It's warm. As you take the trail deep into the forest, you come across a house in the forest. What is the house that you see? Describe it in your mind. Is it a grand house or a modest house? Is it big? Is it small? Is it modern or is it a traditional house? Does your house look occupied or does it look deserted? I mean, are there flower boxes with flowers or are the windows broken? Is smoke curling up from the chimney or is the fire dead and shingles missing? Is the front door open or closed? Take a snapshot of your house in your mind. Remember what it looks like. And you head farther down the path. You make a few turns, and then through the woods you can see water flashing through the leaves of bushes. The path takes you to the edge of a small lake. There is no sign of people or development on this lake. It's like you were the first person to ever discover this lake. You're standing on a small sandy beach. You put your hand in the water, and the clear water is warm. What do you do? And how do you feel? And how long do you stay? I'm going to be in silence for 10 seconds as you choose to interact with the lake or to do anything at all. It's up to you. Some length of time has passed, and now you head off down the path, which leaves the little lake, and as you walk farther, you start to hear, through the forest, the slow, rhythmic roar of the ocean surf. You come to the edge of trees, where sand dunes start, and over the dunes, as you climb them, you come onto a huge ocean beach, stretching as far as the eye can see, just as the ocean stretches as far as you can see. You have to choose to walk to the left or the right on the beach. What do you choose? As you walk, you can see ahead where the water ends, a seashell, just where the water is lapping up on the sand. This seashell is about the size of a large orange. When you get near this seashell, what do you do? See the scene in your mind. You head on from where you found the seashell, but the wind off the ocean turns cold. So you take a path through the dunes, and that path between the high dunes turns into a maze. The dunes are rising high above you. You turn again and again on the winding path between the dunes, and you come to a large open area, a perfect circle. And an ancient stone temple is at the center of this large circular area. It's not that big. It's deserted, and dead center in the temple is a stone wall in a perfect circle with a marble door of pure white. When you approach the white door, it silently swings inward, and a bright light is shining everywhere from inside. You go through the door and enter a space that is pure white and glowing. The white door closes behind you. It becomes part of a white wall, so white you can't see it. You have no depth of perception. Everything is so bright white. There's no floor, there's no walls, there's no ceiling. There's just white space. You're feeling snowblind. You start to walk forward, and you find that you're floating in a limitless white space. How do you feel? Put that feeling into a few descriptive words. You can say them out loud so you remember them. You remember how the white space makes you feel. Now you wake up and you are back in the outside world, and you think you never dreamed at all until you find the key in your pocket. Now take a big breath and your eyes are open. Remember, remember, remember what the key was like. What happened with the tiger, what the house looked like, what happened at the lake, what happened with the seashell, how you felt in the white space. Of all those incidents, which is the incident, the experience you want to return to? In which one do you feel you have unfinished business with? Perhaps it is the same incident, perhaps not. None of these things have any meaning. But how you see them might have significant meaning. As pioneered by Dr. Carl Jung, some experts in the mind believe that our dreams can sometimes manifest symbolically our experiences, our personalities, our wants, and our fears. Sometimes. I wonder if any of these explanations of the things in your guided meditation will ring a bell with you, and if any of these interpretations that I share will make you laugh. The key represents your ambition. How did you describe your key, your ambition? Big or small? Ordinary or unusual? Modern or old-fashioned? Was it made of tin or white metal or iron or gold? The tiger represents your first experience of romantic love. Were you cautious, or anxious, or bold, fascinated, or objective, or all of those? The house represents your experience of family. The house that you saw, does it ring true with your experience? Maybe, maybe not. The lake represents sensual pleasure. The seashell represents co-workers. The white space represents death and eternity. When I played this challenge, I was a young man, and my dream walk was a hoot. I mean, my key was a foot long, and it was solid gold. It's a little tarnished now, later in life. And in the lake, I stripped naked and I went swimming for hours. And I won't tell you what happened with the tiger, but with anyone who did the exercise with me, I could not get a date for a few weeks. Oh, and the seashell. The seashell represents coworkers. I picked up the shell and I held it to my ear for a moment and then I hurled it into the sea. So hold your speculations lightly. It's just an exercise to get you in the habit of looking on your outer life from your inner life. Now, if you have a lot of players, the first mate can put you in breakout rooms of 4 or so to share. But if time allows, it's good for the whole group to hear what everyone shares. And remember, like the slide says, what happens in the lifeboat stays in the lifeboat. Look, no one has to share what they dreamed, but you could share simply whether or not any of the incidents rang true for you, symbolically, without divulging any details. Look, privacy is not a problem with extroverts like myself. We want to spill our guts. You know, the one who says, but enough of me talking about me. What do you think of me? So clockwise in speaker view, or left to right from row to row, each player will be asked by the first mate to share what they dreamed, or pass on. That is to say, pass. The first item, the key, and then the same cycle of everybody talking about their experience for the tiger, and then everyone does the house, then the lake, then the seashell, and then finally, the white space. Look, free advice is worth every penny. And none of this content should be construed as mental health advice. Blah, blah, blah. The first mate has the helm. Enjoy each other. Welcome to the challenge, Fast Forward. To play this, you're going to need a pen and paper, or you can open a Word document on your computer screen and split your computer screen between the Zoom screen and your notes. Now, the first mate can pause right here while everyone gets set to take notes. Everybody ready then? One day you will be rescued from that lifeboat, so you need to look ahead to what you'll be doing in the future. You should look ahead now. You know, stuck in the lifeboat, you have a rare opportunity to do something rare, which is to think. I mean, just think. How many times in the last week have you put aside time to simply think or meditate? Here's something that you can think on while you're sitting in the lifeboat waiting for your new future to begin when you're rescued. What will you be doing 10 years from now? 10 years from now, where will you be? Look ahead. Envision your future. See what it is. Grab a notepad and jot down answers to these questions. You have 7 minutes to sketch out your answers. Don't think too much. Dream. You can envision. Just write down what you see. You wake up on a Saturday morning 10 years from now, and here are the questions you will soon be writing down what you see. The questions you'll be answering are, where do you wake up 10 years from now? Write down the country and the city you're in 10 years hence and describe your home. Another question will be, who all is in your home 10 years from now? And what is your ideal Saturday routine now? And what did you do the day before on the Friday? And what is your ideal job now, 10 years in the future? And what are you doing in 10 years you're not doing now? And 10 years from now, what have you stopped doing? Some of you are keen to start, and some of you are anxious about this. Confess the stress. Remember that this is an exercise. There is no practical outcome to an exercise except it builds your imaginative muscles and makes you healthier. If you finish all the questions early, then you can fill it in with the details, add color to it. Your hobbies, your volunteering, details about work. Do you have any pets? Color in and fill in the details if you have time left of your 7 minutes when you've gone through the question. So the first mate will hit pause and for 7 minutes. And then the first mate will call out the 3-minute mark and the 6-minute mark, which is when you have 1 minute left. Write down your answers. Describe what you see when you answer these questions. So your 7 minutes are up. You got as far as you got. The whole group, if it's more than 5, I would suggest the first mate put you in discussion groups in breakout rooms. So there'll be breakout rooms of 3 to share your visions, giving at least 1 minute to each person. 2 to 3 minutes for each to share if you can afford the time. If you want to develop goals from the notes that you've made, I suggest you look at the game, a follow-up game called Envision 1, 2, 3. Because that puts legs on your vision, on your dream, and gives you practical steps, working backwards from 10 years in the future, all the way up to what you can do this month to move your dream forward. The first mate has the helm. Share your dreams. Welcome back. This challenge is Envisioning 1, 2, 3, and it will not work for you if you have not already played Fast Forward. In Fast Forward, you detailed your ideal life 10 years from now. In this challenge, you're going to quickly envision a path towards that future in smaller steps. 1, 2, 3. Bingo, bango, bongo. It's just an exercise, and plans are often changing. But if you aim at your dream, you likely won't miss your target by that much. I know because I did it. The first time I did envisioning, it was with my wife. We envisioned owning a house. It was just an exercise because our savings were very small and our income was modest and it was unpredictable. But we had 2 children and it was a lifestyle choice for us to own a home. And it was just a dream, so we dreamed in specifics. There was we wanted a detached house with 3 bedrooms. We wanted lots of sunlight from lots of windows. We wanted a big backyard. And we wanted a safe neighborhood with trees and parks, but not too far from the subway. Plus, we wanted room for rose gardens. And we dreamed specifically of hardwood floors and a fireplace. And why not? It was just a dream. And then we walked backwards from our future dream to our present reality. We learned about down payments and mortgages and income expectations. We had conversations with our families and our parents. And a handful of years later, our dream did not come true. The house that we could afford did not have a fireplace, but it had everything else on our list. And we put a fireplace on the patio. So we raised our children here. We've hosted countless visitors. We've worked from home. And in our little castle, we have survived all kinds of struggles. And there was a lot of physical changes in the place too. And changes in our family as we lived our life together. And now 20 years later, we're again envisioning. We're dreaming out loud of selling the house. And we are again walking it back from our dream future to our present reality. Your dream for your life will be different, and it will change, but the steps towards achieving it and evolving it are similar for everyone. So you right now are going to do a short exercise that will translate your dream to your plan. You will roughly cost out your 10-year vision from Fast Forward in these 4 categories. Number 1, your ideal health and fitness in 10 years. Write down things like how many minutes of exercise daily you want to achieve in 10 years. What does your doctor say about your health and life expectancy in 10 years? And what's your ideal weight? Write down your long-range goals for health. Include spiritual health, however you would define that. And in all matters of health, the question is, what in practical terms are you doing about it? Number 2, relationships. Review who is in your life in 10 years, both in your household and in your circles of friends, including volunteering. And 3, finances. What kind of income and assets do you want to have in 10 years, either for a mortgage or for rent? How much monthly will you need for your home, for travel and hobbies? And number 4, your career in 10 years. what training will you have achieved in the next 10 years? Or if you're retired now, then what are your ideal activities in 10 years? From travel and volunteering, and what passions would you like to return to in retirement over the next 10 years? And then, working from your 10-year vision in the Fast Forward Challenge, you have 7 minutes to jot down the practical goals for 10 years hence in the 4 listed categories. You have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. You should be on the last questions. If you have finished, review. First mate, if players want more time, just hit pause here. So now you have a clear destination blocked out with practical parameters. Now you're going to walk back from there to today in 3 simple steps. And relax. It's just an exercise. The agenda in this challenge is to plant a seed or two that might grow over the years. Now, step 1 is to just answer the question. Where should you be practically in 5 years in your journey to 10 years from now? Beside or below your 10-year goals, write down practicals for your 5-year goals in all 4 categories. For example, in finances, as people usually generate more income in later years, you might set your 5-year savings investment goal as less than half of what your 10-year targets are, and much less if you're going to be in school over the next 5 years. And if you want to lose weight in 10 years, why not lose it all in 5 years and then maintain it after that? The same thing with spiritual disciplines. And if you want to be raising children 10 years from now, maybe you want to strategize towards a good romantic relationship in the next 5 years, although you may already be married, and it's the marriage you want to work on for the next 5 years before you have kids. Yes, I said strategize relationships, because there are progressions and process to anything, including relationships. I mean, you ride a bike before you get to a motorbike, and you get an education before you become a professional. You become friends before you become romantically involved. All of this you know. You only have 5 minutes to fill in the categories for 5 years from now. Get in the batting cage and start swinging. 2 minutes left. You should be on question 3 by now. First mate can extend the time simply by hitting pause. Good. You have roughed in a sketch plan in broad strokes for 5 years hence. Now here's step 2 of 3, and you only have 4 minutes to fill this in. It's 2 minutes left. Fake it till you make it. Good work. Your mind should be a little hot and sweaty by now. And here is the third and last step towards your 10-year destination. What can you do this week to kick your can down the road a little bit? What's just one small thing you could do tonight in just one category? So what small things could you do in the next 6 days? Here's a few examples of how simple and easy it can be to take a few steps forward in just 1 week for a 10-year goal. Bravo, bravo. You have completed all 3 steps. The 10-year, the 5-year summit, and a 1-year plan, and then a 1-week do list. So now your 10-year vision can start with one little step before bedtime tonight. If time allows, the First Mate can open a discussion about where people can share just one small change they're going to make, or just one little thing they're going to do today to start on a 10-year journey. If you have a lot of players, of course you can meet in breakout rooms. Before I leave you, I will tell you what is the hardest part of making and following a plan. It is this step that defeats many people. This fatal step is the first step. The first step is the hardest. That's true in saving money. It's true in physical fitness, in spiritual disciplines, in relationship reconciliations, in getting a job, taking the first step. So be bold. It is written, whatever you can dream or do, just begin it. Just take the first step. Once you are committed, the universe is committed to you. All sorts of things will come to your aid you couldn't imagine. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. Just take the first step, and the journey will be completed. Even if you end up somewhere else at the end of your journey.